Hello! Nice! Galing nga! Yee! Anong pangalan mo?
Hala! Akadori din sa sakit eh! Hala! Wala na. Ano rin na siya? Sakit. Oo. Shit! Fuck! Grabe! Tignan mo! Tangina! Truck na yung mga tao doon. Putangina!
Lang, kung masabi na nakakabuhat ka, masagap na rin signal. Ako, pumapasok na kayo sa loob, nawawala. So yan, tapos karamihan, kalakihan po ng mga lugar dito po sa Mega Manila ay wala ang kuryente ngayon.
Wala na po dami dito ng rescue.
Doon po kami, doon po yung bahay namin. Boy! Boy! Ay, Diyos ko, basang-basa ang cellphone ko. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Sayang, di pa. Buto na, ano.
Wait lang, last.
Bye!
Hanggang dyan na lang yan, tignan mo.
Grabe na po, Diyos ko. Tama naman. Tama na po.
Grabe pa raw.
Yan, pag nagbibideo nagwawarang kusog. Ano ba yan? Nararamdaman niya ba? Pero at least clean. Kasi ubos naman ang mga dahon. Wala na siyang maano. Wala na siyang mapupunit. Si Ulysses. Tinan mo, malinis ang labas. Kasi wala ng mga dahon ng mga puno. Wala ko tigsisan mo, kuya. Mahangin. Maulan. Kanina ba sipol ang may video kaya kayo sa kapil na yan.
We now have our 10th named typhoon of the season here. This is Vomko, locally known as Ulysses, moving into southeastern Luzon. Actually, this video out of Catanduanes. Thank you very much for sending this in. Just some incredible imagery there. And this same location is still recovering from Typhoon Coney. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta. Let's talk across southeastern Luzon. And it does look like it is going to be making landfall here towards the east of Manila as we will head through your Wednesday afternoon through the evening. I'm going to break all this down for you. This is microwave imagery here, by the way. Key thing you want to take away from it, this does not have a tight inner core of winds. The eye wall is very spread out. The winds are very spread out from that center of circulation. And what that tells me, we're going to be looking at tropical storm strength conditions. We already are seeing that from northeastern areas of Luzon down through Aurora, Quezon, and even extending down here through Bicol. Bicol, some people have already sent me images here as well. You've been seeing some significant flooding and damaging winds already out there. So this storm is no joke. It may not be as powerful as Goni, but it still is packing winds about 140 gusting to 185 kilometers per hour. Pressure now at 970 hectopascals. Moving off here towards the west at about 20 kilometers per hour. Let's take a look at the high-res visible satellite imagery. And this is what I'm talking about. You don't have that tight inner core eye with this system. So the eye wall is a bit spread out here. And that's what it means by we're seeing these typhoon strength winds well away from the center of circulation. Basically, all of Bicol down through Catanduanes and Polillo, you're going to be looking at really this storm moving directly overhead as it heads off there towards the west. All right. Anyways, please subscribe to this channel. Follow me on all these social media platforms if you can. Let's break this forecast down. So here's a look at the latest from Pagasa. They do expect that landfall here. So we go ahead through your Wednesday afternoon into the evening with the latest track actually pushing it just north of Manila across the NCR. Yeah, that is taking Manila out of the right front quadrant here, but there is still some downsides to that as well. I'll talk about that in a second. Manila and all of the NCR, Quezon City, down through Cavite City, you're all under signal force 3 at this time. That is what Pagasa expected to upgrade it to. I think this is going to be the max of it. I am pretty happy with the fact that Pagasa is ahead of the curve with this one. They issued that signal force 3 well ahead of time, so hopefully people are actually taking this seriously before this comes overhead. Here's a look at the track from the Japan Meteorological Agency, by the way. Catanduanas, they're getting raked with this storm system. So like I said, despite the center line being right here, doesn't mean you're not going to see those high winds further towards the south. This does have a large wind field. Moving over the islands here, coming on shore. I kind of zoomed in on this though, because we're always talking about these mountains, the Sierra Madre Mountains. Yes, they're there. Yes, they are going to weaken this storm, but it's not going to be enough to just make it a light, stiff breeze on the lee side of those hills there. In fact, these mountains are going to be causing issues as far as rain totals are concerned. I do expect some areas here could see upwards about 400 or 500 millimeters of total precipitation. Not to mention the right front quadrant here, some of these bays and inlets, that water gets thrusted up in there. You could be seeing some pretty decent storm surge there as well. So there's a lot of factors here going into play. The good news, and this is just the geography of the region. There's a reason why the east side of these mountains are not as heavily populated as the west side, because they just get raked with typhoons every year, one after another. This year more so than normal, at least for the last few months. But yeah, all right, so here's a look at ASCA imagery, your satellite imagery. Key thing I want to show you here is look at the wind field. You have tropical storm strength winds all the way off here towards the north across northeastern Luzon. In fact, this is a pretty large storm system, 1,200 kilometers across from tip to tip. To put that in perspective, 1,200 kilometers, about the same distance from London to Rome. I'd just like to put a little geography here for you. So if you're watching this, maybe you're not from the Philippines and you're thinking, oh yeah, how that doesn't look that big. It is. It's a very large storm system, very large wind field. So if you're away from the center of circulation, just keep in mind you're probably still going to see tropical storm strength winds. All right, so Pulido, you're right in the eye as we go ahead into your Wednesday evening here. Right front quadrant all the way off towards Casiguran. I'm afraid of that wind kind of getting thrusted up into that area, and we still have that coastal surge. Anybody here along the immediate coastline, there is going to be a storm surge here, 3 to 4 meters possibly high. Just that persistent onshore flow wrapping it around this. This is picking up on that rainfall also hitting the mountains here, so it is going to disrupt our storm a little bit. But as we go ahead into your Wednesday night, it moves on short. We start to see those winds wrap around. So yeah, you have the bulk of the precipitation getting there. Then on the lee side, you don't have as much, but there is still some showers, and we still have that eye. And then this is going to start to pick up moisture out of the South China Sea. And this is what I'm talking about heading into Thursday morning. Here's Manila Bay right there. You got Manila, Cavite City. This is all going to basically wrap around. And if the track holds true in the HWRF, which I hope this doesn't happen, this could funnel those winds right up the bay. Coastal areas could see a bit of a storm surge as well. That would be problematic. Now, the hope is those mountains do a good enough number that it weakens those onshore winds and our system doesn't have as deep of a low pressure. Problem is, I'm not sure about that. I think that given the size of the wind field here, even though it is going to be disrupted, it's still the machine is going to continue to work as it moves towards the west. So I think those onshore winds heading into Thursday morning, when this storm's just north of Manila, I think that's when you're really going to start to see some of the worst of the weather. This is by Thursday noontime. Winds still screaming up Manila Bay there off towards the east. Eventually a storm is going to work off there into the afternoon through the evening. And then we'll start to see those rapidly improving conditions. So I keep on stressing Manila because last time during Coney, it was not severely impacted, and I'm just afraid people are going to let their guard down. This one's moving just a little bit further towards the north. if those winds come on shore at Manila Bay, it is going to change things up pretty significantly. Are looking at that chance of a storm surge along the east coast as well, and potential for some coastal flooding in Manila Bay. All right, know your signal force warnings. Maybe you're new to the Philippines. You're like, what is this stuff? Why can't they just issue a typhoon warning, for goodness sakes? Well, this is what Bigasa does, so what people know here. Signal force 3 indicates 120 to 170 km/h winds within the next 18 hours. So
Nagbalik sa mga taga-Marikina ang sindak at masakit na alaala na idinulot ng bagyong Ondoy noong 2009. Si Marikina City Mayor Marcelino Chidoro na nagsabi, ang antas ng Marikina River ay umabot sa 22 meters, mas mataas sa naitalang 21.5 meters ng ilubog ng Ondoy ang lungsod, mahigit isang dekada na ang nakakalipas. Sa video ng isang netizen tong, ang Philippine Coast Guard ang first responder na sumaklolo sa Marikina at kabilang sa una nilang pinasok ay ang Provident Village na nalubog din ng tubig sa pananalasa ng bagyong Ondoy. Muli, maraming residente ng Provident Village ang natrap sa kanilang bahay at naulit ang maraming eksena ng Ondoy dahil nagsilikas na sa bubungan ang mga maraming residente sa bilis ng pagtaas ng tubig sa lugar. Gayon din sa Barangay Barangka kung saan 10 residente ang kinailangan na ring umakyat ng buong at natrap. Isa pa sa 7 babae ang buntis kaya't naging masela ng pagligtas sa kanya ng mga tauhan ng Coast Guard. Sa pagsilip ng konting liwanag at pagbuti-buti ng panahon, pinangunahan na ni Coast Guard Commandant Admiral George Orsabia ang aerial inspection sa mga lugar sa paligid ng Marikina River. At kapansin-pansin, nalubog na sa tubig at putik ang mga kalsada. Umabot na rin hanggang sa ikatlong palapag ng mga gusali at bahay ang tubig sa ilang lugar sa paligid ng ilog. Sa barangay Nangka, halos hanggang dibdib na rin ang tubig, kaya't ang mga rescue team ng PNP ay gumamit na ng rubber boats para i-rescue ang mga natrap na residente. Inuna lang nila ang mga matatanda, may kapansanan, buntis at mga bata. Nang magsimulang maramdaman ang bagsik ng bagyong Ulysses Miyerkules ng gabi, kumilos na rin ang pulisya ng Marikina City.
Actually, nandun na po yung namin, nandun na yung mga drum boat namin, rubber boat, at saka kagabi pa kami nag-requisition ng tao. Kaya lang sa dami nga nang humihingi ng tulong, na-overwhelm mo kami, kaya ngayon nagpadala pa kami ng additional na mga tao, kaya lang na nahihirapan kami mag-penetrate, pumasok kasi lampas po na so baka manganganib din yung mga kapulisan namin. Pero ganun pa man po, pipilitin pa rin namin kung ano magagawa namin.
Ipinagtataka nila, ayon kay Umayaw, ang hindi paglikas ng mga residente sa kabila ng mga babala sa kanila.
Ganun pa rin po hindi namin malaman kung ba't hindi na napagandaan ng mga tao. Pagdating ng bagyo pero may mga bata pa rin na naiwan, may mga tao pa rin naiwan na alam naman nila tumataas na. So medyo nahihirapan po kami. Pero sabi na po, nandito po ang kapulisan, pipilitin po namin lahat ng magagawa niya.
Inabutan ng Inquirer TV ang isang lalaki na isa-isang binabalikan sa nakalubog na nilang bahay ang kanyang pamilya.
Boss, saan kayo galing?
Rescue ko yung anak ko eh.
Paano nakalalim yung tubig doon, boss?
Nandito na po. Yung days na.
May naiwan pa po doon na mga tao.
Mga asawa ko, tsaka mga pinang ko. Mga bata wala na. May sinuna kayo mga bata eh. So, kailangan nila eh.
Saan po diretso nung mga bata? Sa evacuation, sir?
Nakatali ko sa may barangka. May mataas.
Marami din ang hindi na nagawa pang makalikas agad kagabi dahil na rin sa malakas na buhos ng ulan at bugso ng hangin. Si Bea Locsin, inamin na unang beses nilang lumikas dahil sa baha.
Saan kayo papunta?
Dito sa may Tanyuga School, dito sa taas.
Evacuation din po?
Okay.
Saan po kayo galing?
Dito sa 41, dito.
Paano nakataas yung tubig po?
Hindi ko po matansya kasi dito na rin po sa amin.
Ngayon lang po kayo lumikas?
Okay, for the first time.
Sa mga kalapit na bayan sa lalawigan ng Rizal, maraming kabahayan din ang lumubog sa tubig at ang mga residente tiniis ang matinding lamig sa kanilang bubungan para lang hindi mapahamak. Ilan sa kanila ay nagpost na sa social media para may makapansin sa kanilang sitwasyon. Bukod sa mga rescue team ng Coast Guard at PNP, sumaklolo na rin ang mga tauhan ng Philippine Army sa ilang nasalantang lugar. Mga nailigtas na residente ang sama-sama na lang itinali ng mga rescuers para hindi sila tangayin ng tubig at hangin. Nahirapan ang rescue teams na pasukin ang ilang lubog na lugar dahil sa mga lumulutang na mga puno at sanga na nakakadagdag pa sa mahirap at komplikado ng sitwasyon. May isang lalaki pa na naabutan na nakabitin na lang sa bubungan ng bahay habang naghahanap ng matutungtungan para makaligtas. May ilan din na tumawid sa mga bubungan papunta sa mga pinakamalapit na rescue teams. Ang MMDA agad nalawagan sa ibang lokal na pamahalaan ng Metro Manila na hindi naman labis na naapektuhan ng bagyo na magpadala ng tulong sa Marikina City.